Welcome back, Armchair Generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8 and Third Reich events installed. We're going to get playing here for another great episode. Just getting started here. No, this event popped up again. As I said in the last episode, I had to go back and replay. I had to go back to a monthly save because I had a save game problem that wouldn't allow me to save from the save. So a few of these events are showing up again like that. They're just showing up again on the videos, but their effects are only happening once because they didn't happen before, or they happened when I didn't play through it before. So yes, and we will get air bases in Austria, Österreich, and remember to come down here, push them all up to the top, make sure they get through. Take a look at Spain. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a bunch more events. Well, let's go through them, then we'll look at Spain. Okay, this is another one of those that we've seen before. But get this as well as this. We will build the hospital, improve our relations with Iran. The Manchurian Aviation Company. Which is interesting because that's the title that I understood it as being called historically in English, as opposed to the Manchukuo one. And Manchukuo is just Japanese for Manchuria, but it's interesting how they're using this word. Wants to buy some airplanes. They were very small Air Force at this point. Well, when I say Air Force, they were a, shall we say, a paramilitary aviation company. At this point, they had no fighter airplanes, but a lot of their operations were in support of ground forces. And they had some various earlier cast-off or surplus, or however you want to say it, Japanese models. But they wanted to set up long-distance route between Helsinki, I don't know, Helsinki, and Berlin. Obviously flying over the Soviet Union. The Soviets did allow overflights over its territory. And this would improve our relations with both Manchukuo and Japan. That's I'm not sure whether it's a postage stamp or like a luggage tag stamp thing, but the 86 is what they want to buy, the Ju-86. And that's a Manchukuoan artifact from the period. They were already reusing that rondel, as you see here. Vertical, or I should say horizontal stripes on the tailplane in the national colors there. That's obviously one that they did buy. So yes, we will sell them, we'll lose some supplies, the production cost of the transport planes, but get some money and gain relations with Manchuria and Manchukuo. Okay. Another event offered by the He. Hai? That's not the way I was spelled. I don't know. H-I-E-I is launched. I believe that is a carrier. I'm not sure. You know, some of them. I don't know all the Japanese carriers. Another event contributed by George 1941. we've had time to examine and test the Czech forts. This will help our ability to attack the Maginot Line, as they're based on very similar designs, and they were. I'm not sure the details between the consulting between the two, whether it was French designers came into Czechoslovakia or the Czechs came over and viewed some of the Maginot lines and figure out how the French were doing it, and then built very similar fortification types along the Czech German frontier. And the Germans did pick out at least a few of them and shot at them a bunch, basically. And as you see, everybody's out there getting lectured and taking notes on how they found the best way to assault and take these type of positions. They knew that, as you can see, yes, there's still a few fortifications around that are in Czech hands, but the great bulk of them aren't. But they knew that there was a real possibility of fighting similar ones with the Maginot Line, so they went and they did some significant research and improved it. So this will improve our assault weapons, which is an engineering tech. Japanese youth leaders. Japanese youth leaders from various organizations have come to visit our great nation. A delegation led by the department chief from the Japanese Ministry of Culture, Shins, who was assisted by Duke Watanabe. In September, the Reich Führer Baldur von Strach welcomed the boys to Munich. They were especially invited to attend the NSDA Party Day, the Reich Partei. Japanese youth leaders stayed in Germany for 3 months. Their trip ended in Naples, Italy, where they boarded a Japanese steamer. So they really traveled around Germany a bit. That's why this event doesn't coincide with the Party Day event, because this is talking about they went around and saw it. They traditionally, most of these groups didn't wear uniforms. These various youth groups, but they uniformed themselves up for the German trip because they knew the Germans liked uniforms. Hitler used everything else, so they uniformed themselves up for this trip. And this helps our relations with Japan because we've shown them a good time, how to meet a bunch of German girls, and they get to go home with see how great Germany is. And these are going to be obviously some influential people as they get older, because they don't pick non-influential people to come on trips like this. Return manpower back to the pool from the southern Germany air bases. Alright. Just getting ready to go down to Spain again. Take the Lufthansa airplanes for the Luftwaffe. No, I'd rather have the reduced descent than take these planes, especially at this time. If it was wartime, I would consider it maybe, but right now. The Zeus Z1. Conrad Zeus? I don't even say his full name because I should. That's him there. That's a picture of his thing. It was the first freely programmable computer in the world, which used Boolean logic and binary floating. However, it was unreliable in operation due to precise synchronization required. It is a mechanical computer, not an electronical computer, meaning all these little things moved machine. Should have this thing yesterday. So we get mechanical computing, machine gain 180 days, because this is a major thing. And I'm taking this as, yes, it is improving our mechanical computing, and we can learn from the Zeus Z1. They did make continuing numbers past Z1, but this is just the start of it. And it, you know, think of it as a very, very sophisticated abacus. It ain't going to replace even an IBM computer of the 1940s, which were almost to 1940. I mean, obviously, none of them did what our computers sitting here we're watching this does, or even a modern television with this computer chip does. But it won't, you know, the highly mechanical abacus, if you will, isn't going to compete with an early vacuum tube IBM computer coming up. But that's what the Americans are going to do. So the Americans take much greater leaps ahead. And since we've had that last event, which reduces the amount of consumer goods there, not taking the airplanes from them. Lufthansa, get much more production going. Let's take a quick look at Spain, is where we're heading. Well, they're about done. I don't think, they made an invasion here successfully finally. In Ibiza, they wanted to get to the beach girls. But I think once the Spaniards get Barcelona, yeah, probably the capital will switch, but I think that will mean the end of Spain, since we just had the Japanese youth leader visit, and the Manchukuo and Air Corps. I did, with some of the events that you don't see, add some air bases in Manchukuo because there are extremely too few. One thing I don't like is I briefly played Manchukuo, just an hour or two or something as a player, but with a puppet of China. If you, for some reason, I'm pretty sure because I've checked it out in game mechanics, their capital is always out of supply of a puppet, because I guess all the extra supply is going to the puppet master. But so if you stick a garrison unit in the capital, or if you stick like an air base in the capital and put airplanes there, they're always out of supply. So that's an annoying thing, and obviously it's too late to fix Hearts of Iron 3, but that was something that I noticed trying to play a puppet. But now you see that through a few events, they've the big thing that they did get some transport planes, and there will be a later event equating to transferring outdated Japanese models to Manchukuo for its Air Force, and then an event that will give them a destroyer and a torpedo boat, I think it is, that were the Manchukuo Navy that basically just patrolled up and around here during the war. Yeah, we won't see those other events. They're only seen by Japan and or Manchukuo. So they're doing well there. They're pushing in. Here, the communists holding out. They get a lot of bonuses, I understand. Holding some of their terrain. All the rest of this is Japanese, actual Japanese annex. Moving in pretty good there. Okay, back to the (1938) Germany. Okay, another event from Tanganyika. This is the PD Tanganyika, spelled with a J. For you Americans, in Central Europe, it is common to use J instead of Y, and it's a soft J in words. in spelling. Like you will have spelling of Yugoslavia with a J, U, and it's not then pronounced Jugoslavia. It's pronounced Yugoslavia, like Hitler Jugend. But that's sort of the Central European use of the thing there. So we can send the PD Tanganyika, which was a very real vessel. There's a photo of it. That's some artifact off of it. They weren't very sure what it is. And it survives today, and basically it spells out in code flags Tanganyika with the German national flag and the Hamburg American Line company flag there, but the rest says Tanganyika. So basically, and they did use the vessel going to Africa and places like this, but as you can see, it's a combination of a freighter and passenger ship, sort of the old style things. We can send it on a trip around Africa, which will cost us some supplies, a little bit of money, and improve relations with Portugal and South Africa. But because we're part of what we're doing is stopping off in Tanganyika and Cameroon and whatever, but mainly Tanganyika, and planning spies and stuff. But I'm going to decide not to do this. So I do want to improve my relations with Portugal, but the supplies, and money, I'm just hurting too much here, so I'm going to say no. Normally I would say yes. Okay. Wehrkreise II. This is part of the GGA mod, setting up the Wehrkreise training reserve system. There will be a bunch of benefits, including some additional manpower, and for in Austria here, and gain some various effects that will improve, I think, improve things and be good. So we will expand the system into Austria. Air bases in southern Germany. Participate. Yes, we want to do this as well. Okay, so we're getting pretty good. Production capabilities here. Let's see if we can sell more supplies to the Soviet Union. Not yet. Okay, also Jaeger divisions. This, I believe, it's a very nicely done event image. I quite like that. It's very well done. As you can tell, I didn't make this. I think this is units of the Third Reich. I hope I'm getting that right, Alexei. Revolver held stuff because I don't recognize it. Supplies 4,000. We got 3, so we're going to minor deficit. Manpower, we got plenty of that for this time period. And metal, well, rebuilding our stocks there, but yeah. We'll go for that. Does it stick it? No, it doesn't stick it into the... Cute. There's definitely an order to battle. There we are. Okay, so they're both put together. So these are miminal divisions of. So I already have another one in production. Just one regiment in Fusion HQ. Well, good. That was worth it supply-wise, even if we didn't have to learn through that. Production here, but we're keeping up 105 production there. As long as I'm seeing the green there, I know it. No, I'm doing okay. I'm not. And another technology. Direct fire unit training has advanced. That's nice. Let's convert this up to mobile unit training. I'm slightly in the deficit, but I'm hoping that we will get better deficit of doing more research than what we have leadership for. But I'm hoping that we'll get back to high popularity sometime. I think we're still in the medium popularity. Argentina. Yes, I'm sure it'll be short-lived, but yes. Looking at supplies and their diplomatic effects. You can see I have not been doing any influencing of any nations or pretty sure this is another one of the events that's coming back out. That should have happened, or that happened earlier in the playthrough, but because of the problems. So yeah, Goering, the Nazis, like I said, saw Vienna as a polyglot city, a cosmopolitan city, not a German city as they wanted to see that thing, and that I believe is a picture of Goering from that speech. If I got the accreditations right, because I got the article from the Los Angeles Times, like I said, and I searched for pictures based on that date, and if that's right, I think that's from that speech, or very near it of him shouting there into the microphone. Okay, we're defense research. So we're now starting to get some of these. We hope for a good turnout. Well, just a minor one, but that's okay. It'll improve something. So it improves it, I don't know what right offhand, but it improved that. And back to here, as you can see, without doing any, like I say, haven't used any intel to increase threat or other things for other nations. I have not been influencing other nations of any extent except for via trades. And you can see even the US is moving towards the axis ever so slightly. Now of course it's still very closely aligned to Britain. But we got countries like Sweden moving our way. Turkey, I think, has been in the code for Black Ice, try to act more like Switzerland, and that it tries to does things to maintain its neutrality. But Finland's moving down towards us pretty heavily. You know, places like Afghanistan, and then a bunch of places like Uruguay, Yugoslavia, they're all heading down towards us pretty fast. So you can see great bulk of nations moving towards the axis. Obviously you got people like the Philippines, Czechoslovakia is even slightly, with all we're doing to it, moving towards us. Spanish Republic is moving now slightly towards the axis, not really, but so you can use, to do that you need to do this. And this this playthrough I did different than my last one. I didn't think I was going to get as far as I did. It just took them longer to get Black Ice out by about 6 or 8 weeks than I thought it was. Black Ice 8 out, so I'm taking this a lot more seriously. As you can see, instead of just, say, 10 big trades with the U.S., I've got lots of them. Got lots of stuff going with Japan. Italy, obviously already in, but one of the reasons they got into the Axis early is because of the trades. Finland, we're moving heavily there. A little bit of trades there, but Hungary, Romania, Switzerland will take action to balance itself out. It just set up like that. No matter how much you do, you're never going to influence them either by trades or using influence into the Axis. You have to conquer them and puppet them or whatever. Bulgaria, we're moving towards it. Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Turkey, I think, from what I understand, like I said, is told to act more like Switzerland, but we'll see. It won't disrupt my plans too much if Turkey stays neutral. If I can get Iran and Iraq and Saudi Arabia in the Axis, I'll be relatively happy with that. Argentina, we're moving towards there. A little bit in Uruguay, so I'd love to get Argentina into the Axis. That would help a late mid-war operations in Latin America, keep me from having to invade across the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, Condors across the Atlantic. The first prototype of the Focke-Wulf 200, the V1, upgraded with extra fuel tanks and redesignated the S1. Made several record flights. So basically, Germany now has a long-range transport and fly between Berlin and New York City nonstop. So that's greater than the Limburg flight, because Limburg we took off, I forget, somewhere in here, I forget whatever field it is, but, and overflew Ireland and such, but landed in Paris. So we can now go from Berlin, while carrying, I'm sure they're reducing weight of luggage and to some degree number of passengers. They may not have a full load of passengers, but with passengers, Philadelphia, New York, to New York, non-stop. And it's just 24 hours and 56 minutes. So think of that, people. You were in the air for a little over a day. And like I say, they, had to modify the planes a bit. And I don't think that they were, crammed full of passengers. But very few people could afford to do that. But even the sort of basic fastest transit was still a day plus non-stop. So in doing that, we've regained some good research and lose some dissent for improving our transportation options of the German people, and showing how great Germany is, and that we're getting no fuel. Okay, again, the STG, I'm not going to try to pronounce all that out. Thought this very interesting group as I looked into it. They were, a Berlin-based technical society. They, let's see here at this time, I think it is either this one or the 1939s. They took over the, well, they were taking over several of the German, but they also ended up taking over the Austrian, based in Vienna one, I think, but I think it may be next year. And Eric Reeder is patron of the working group, the Gross Admiral, there, and you can see him there looking at all the ship models at one of their facilities. It's our big banquet night. And so we can continue to support the research. We get, 5 or 10 days. Bonus on a bunch or not. So if you're going to do a land campaign against Russia and that's what you focus on, you can decide not to spend the supplies and the money, but I'm going to because of our different plans. I guess it puts us again into the negative. We gotta build those up. And putting yourself into the negative means that there will be some events that won't fire, and so I gotta really sort of build these up until you get larger. And it will disrupt your supply situation, so you really want to increase this. So I'm going to do that now because there will be some events coming through black ice that they want you to have 5 or 10,000 supplies minimum for them, or decisions that need to check that to get that up there. So we'll do that. Also need to reduce excess. Okay, mountain HQs, and totaling now 1 hour reduction between attacks. We will do the paratrooper HQs. Paratrooper HQs are great because if you're going to be moving into rough areas, you don't necessarily have to drop them as part of a paradrop, though I have done it and will be doing that. They can just be if you're operating, I don't know, somewhere here, or operating in strange environments, you can fly them in, or you can't fly in a regular HQ. Get it over there. We may see what we do with them next time. Okay, forming the first Gebirgsjäger Army with 2 Gebirgsjäger Army Corps HQs. Yes, we'll do that. Again, take supplies that we don't have. We're trying to correct that now. And that's slightly popped up our army size. Each little increase in your armed forces affects your needs for consumer goods. Okay, Hitler Youth going to Japan, a delegation of 30 Hitler Youth and young Volk members from across Germany visit Japan to improve relations. The delegation was led by Rolf here. They were given this sort of friendship badge there, which you see him wearing on his uniform there. The one sort of interesting that I read, these photos were taken from a period Japanese magazine covering it, was sort of the culture clash. Japan, the Japanese were sort of surprised, and they made some comment about it. I don't know quite how it was recorded, but from what I understand, was that they're surprised that none of the Germans wore glasses, where a lot of the Japanese did wear glasses. And to some degree, glasses in Asia were sort of a sign of, at least of education, because you needed glasses to be able to read, or you had some higher skilled job. And so if you needed glasses and you were able to afford to get glasses, it was a bit of a status symbol to improve your eyesight. Where Germany, there are lots of people wearing glasses in Germany, they absolutely did. But the Germans, for an ambassadorial trip like this, because they were representing the super race, specifically disqualified, if you will, quietly, on any of these sort of high level things, sending people needing to wear glasses because they wanted to show off that they were the superior Germans. That they didn't, they just thought it as a weakness that racially superior people shouldn't need to have glasses. And so it's the interesting cultural mindset conflicts between the different groups, because the Japanese were definitely on a racial kick, particularly within Asia, of a racial superiority thing. Nowhere near the German level of the mania, but they were definitely on one as well. But they didn't look at glasses as being a sign of any level of inferiority. And obviously, it is a bit of a weakness. If you want to be a high-end sniper, they don't pick people that need to wear glasses. To be a really good fighter pilot nowadays, you're not a person that needs glasses. It's just the way, if you're going for one of these highly sought after specialty jobs that vision is a prime requirement, they want people at least starting out with good eyesight, and then you may improve it from there. So yeah, but to say that somebody's a lesser of a person because they need glasses is sort of silly. So it's just the two different mindset, because I don't know if it showed it in any of the photos, but some of the Japanese youth and some of the photos that were sent to Germany, they were wearing glasses because, hey, it helps their eyesight. Anything to improve themselves, they'll do, so interesting conflict. But we can send them or not. It'll cost us just a teeny bit of money because they're only sending 30 people, and this is just one. I mean, they only did 2 visits total. This is the first one of them. So yes, we'll send them over there. And we've got artillery brigades generally has advanced, special forces branch has advanced. So artillery brigades here. We'll stop that, pushing that forward. Morton artillery. Yeah, we'll be using a bunch of that. And special forces brigades. That's okay. That's grayed out one up here. Okay, so that now we're back to only what we can research. They'll come up and tell us once we get more leadership available. Okay, I think we've done enough for this episode. I want to thank all of you for viewing. Please, if you can, like this episode and post any comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. See you next time.